You know when you look at a really dense technical document and you just know there's something amazing buried in there? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're going to take this setup guide for an AI project and turn it into a guided tour. A story, really, about how to build a genuinely smart AI agent from the ground up. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get on the same page about what an agentic AI even is. Then we'll check out the core parts that make it tick. After that, we'll see how to give it a custom memory, connect all the final pieces, and then, the best part, we'll bring it to life.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can even think about building this thing, we really need to wrap our heads around the main idea. What does it mean for an AI to be agentic?
Right, think about it like this. A normal chatbot is kind of like a calculator. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer based on what it already knows. That's it. But an agentic AI, that's more like a personal research assistant. You give it a goal and it doesn't just respond, it actively uses tools like searching the web or digging through its own private files to figure out the best possible answer. The bottom line is, it doesn't just talk, it actually does things.
All right, so now we get what we're aiming for. Let's pop the hood and take a look at the actual ingredients we need to cook up this AI agent. What's it made of?
So at the very center of it all, you have the brain, which in this case is Google's Gemini model. Now that brain is connected to a really smart retrieval system called a RAG chatbot. And RAG is just a fancy acronym for a simple idea. It finds the facts before it tries to answer. And where does it get those facts? Well, from two main places. Its own private library, which is a database called Pinecone, and its hotline to the rest of the world, good old Google search. And this two-pronged approach is what makes it so powerful. On one hand, you have its own internal, specialized knowledge stored in Pinecone. You can think of this as its personal textbook, full of information that we've given it. But if the answer isn't in that textbook, no problem. It can fall back on Google's search, giving it access to pretty much the entire internet for up-to-the-minute info.
Okay, so this is the crucial part. For this AI to be genuinely helpful, it needs that specialized internal knowledge. So let's talk about how we actually build that memory for it.
And you know what? The process is actually pretty straightforward. It literally starts with a Word document. That's it. That's our source material, the AI's textbook. Then you run a simple script that acts like a super efficient librarian. It reads the whole document, chops it up into neat little paragraphs, and then files each piece away perfectly in that Pinecone database. And when I say it's specific, I mean it's really specific. The original guide literally points to the exact file path on the developer's computer. It's not just a general idea. The system has to know the precise address to find the information it needs to learn. In this project, the document was all about the science of longevity, which is a pretty cool topic to teach in AI. Now, this next bit is where the real magic happens. The script does something called an upsert. So first, it takes every paragraph and turns it into numbers, a format called an embedding. Just think of it like a unique digital fingerprint for that piece of information that the AI can understand. Then it upserts it, which is just a mashup of update and insert, and files that digital fingerprint away into the Pinecone knowledge base. This creates this beautifully organized, searchable library just for our AI. Okay, so we're almost there. We have the brain, we have the knowledge base. Let's move on to the final setup step, which is all about building the bridges so all these different parts can actually talk to each other. This step is basically like giving your brand new research assistant a set of keys and a map. In the world of programming, you do this with a special little file called an .env file. It's where you store the secret passwords, the API keys that let the AI access the Pinecone library and Google search. It also has the map, the specific address of its knowledge inside Pinecone. Without these, the AI is totally cut off. With them, it's fully connected and ready to go. And here we go. The library is built, the keys are in place, all the prep work is officially done. Now it's time for the really fun part, flipping the switch and bringing this agent to life. This is it, right? This is the moment we've been building up to. We've put in the work, we've connected the brain, the library, the tools. So what actually happens when we ask it a question? It all comes down to running one last file, main.py. And this isn't just another configuration file. This is the ignition key. Hitting run on this script wakes up the main orchestrator agent. Think of it like the conductor of an orchestra, who now has full control to tell the Pinecone library, Google Search, and the Gemini brain exactly how to work together. And this is where you can actually see it think. When you give it a question, the agent doesn't just spit back the first thing it finds. It makes a strategic call. It basically asks itself, is the answer to this in my special longevity document? Or is this a more general question that I need to look up on the internet using Google?
So what's the big takeaway here? This whole setup is a massive shift in how we think about AI. We are moving past the era of chatbots that could only repeat what they were trained on. Now, we're in the era of AI agents that can actually reason, strategize, and use a whole toolkit to actively hunt down and put together information from different places to solve a real problem. It's a huge, huge leap forward. Honestly, this kind of technology just opens up so many incredible possibilities, not just for coders, but for anyone with a deep well of knowledge on, well, anything. So I'll leave you with this thought. If you could create your own expert AI agent, what would be the very first textbook you would give it to learn?